The front door creaked open under Marcus's weary push, the weight of another late night at the office clinging to him like fog. The house was unnaturally still, the kind of silence that screamed something was wrong. "Seraphina," he called out, his voice echoing off the polished hardwood floors. No answer. He dropped his briefcase by the entryway table, frowning as he flicked on the lights. The living room was pristine, too pristine. The throw pillows on the couch were fluffed, the coffee table bare of her usual scattered books and teacups. His pulse quickened. "Sarah. Honey, you home?" He moved through the kitchen, the scent of her lavender candles lingering faintly, but no dinner simmering on the stove, no note on the fridge like she always left when she stepped out. Panic clawed at his chest. This wasn't like her. Seraphina was the anchor in his chaotic world, the one who kept everything together while he chased promotions and other distractions. He tore through the house now, room by room. The study, empty. The guest room, untouched. Upstairs, the bathroom mirror fog-free, her toothbrush still in its holder. "This has to be a joke," he muttered, forcing a laugh that sounded hollow. Maybe she was testing him, punishing him for the late nights. But as he circled back to the kitchen, his eyes landed on the counter. A single sheet of paper, stark white against the granite. He snatched it up, heart hammering. It was blank. Not a word, not a scribble. Just nothing. The emptiness hit him like a gut punch. What did it mean? A final silence? A void where her goodbye should be? He crumpled it in his fist, then smoothed it out, staring as if words might appear. "Sarah, what the hell?" he whispered, sinking onto a stool. The house felt haunted now, every shadow a ghost of her presence. He grabbed his phone, dialing her number frantically. Straight to voicemail. Again. And again. Hours blurred into a frenzy. He paced, called her friends, her work. Nothing. The police. Too soon, they said. 24 hours. But Marcus knew. This wasn't a disappearance. This was erasure. The doorbell chimed like a death knell, jolting Marcus from his stupor. He stumbled to the door, hoping against hope it was Seraphina, sheepish with some explanation. Instead, there stood Elena, her raven hair cascading over a packed suitcase, a sly smile curving her lips. "Surprise, darling," she purred, stepping forward with the confidence of someone who'd been promised the world. "You said tonight was the night. No more hiding." Marcus blinked, the world tilting. Elena, the mistress, the escape from his suffocating marriage. He'd whispered promises in hotel rooms, painted pictures of a future without Seraphina. But now... "Elena, you can't be here," he hissed, glancing over his shoulder as if his wife might materialize. Her smile faltered, eyes narrowing. "What? You begged me to come." "Leave him, Elena. We'll start fresh." "Ring a bell." She pushed past him, wheeling her suitcase into the foyer. The house's silence enveloped her, and she froze. "Where's her? You said she'd be gone by now." "Gone?" Marcus's voice cracked. He rubbed his temples, the blank note burning a hole in his pocket. "She's gone, all right. Vanished. I came home, and nothing. Just this." He thrust the paper at her. Elena unfolded it, her confusion morphing into a cold dread. "Blank. What kind of game is this?" She tossed it aside, her voice rising. "Did you tell her? About us? Is this her way of screwing with you?" "No. I don't know." Marcus exploded, pacing again. "We fought last week, but nothing like this. She's just erased herself." Elena's face paled, the reality sinking in. She'd left her own life for this, a panicked man in an empty house. "You have to help me find her," he pleaded, grabbing her arms. "Please." Elena's eyes flashed with fear and regret. "Help you? I came here for a new life, not to chase your ghost wife." But she didn't leave. Not yet. The mystery had hooked her, too, a twisted thread pulling her into the unraveling. The weight of Elena's presence only amplified the void. Marcus couldn't sit still. "I need to check upstairs again," he muttered, bounding up the stairs 2 at a time. Elena followed reluctantly, her heels clicking like accusations on the wood. The bedroom door loomed, and he hesitated before pushing it open. The bed was made, hospital corners tight, Seraphina's habit. But as he approached the walk-in closet, a chill slithered down his spine. He flung the doors wide. Empty. Her side was a barren expanse, hangers swinging naked, shelves cleared of folded sweaters and shoeboxes. Not a single dress, not even the ratty robe she loved. "Oh God!" Marcus gasped, staggering back. Elena peered over his shoulder, her hand flying to her mouth. She didn't just leave. She planned this. Packed everything. But how? When? Elena whispered, stepping inside. She ran her fingers along the empty rods, as if expecting a hidden message. "You were at work all day." She must have been ready for weeks. Marcus sank to the floor, head in hands. This isn't a fight. This is abandonment. Flashes of their last argument replayed, her tear-streaked face, accusing him of distance, of secrets. He'd brushed it off, promised to change. Lies, all of it. Now, the closet mocked him, a perfect, desolate void mirroring the hole in his chest. Elena knelt beside him, her voice softening despite everything. "We need to call someone. Her family. Friends." But Marcus shook his head, terror gripping him. What if they knew? What if this exposed everything? The doorbell rang again, insistent this time. Marcus dragged himself downstairs, Elena trailing like a shadow. Through the peephole he saw Lydia, Seraphina's sister, fists clenched, face thunderous. He opened the door, and she barreled in without a word, her eyes scanning the room like a detective. "Where is she, you bastard?" Lydia spat, not bothering with pleasantries. Her voice was a whip, cracking through the tension. Elena shrank back, but Lydia zeroed in on her. "And who the hell are you?" "The whore he's been screwing behind my sister's back." Marcus recoiled. "Lydia, wait. Wait. I've been waiting for years while you destroyed her." Lydia's eyes blazed, her petite frame vibrating with rage. "She called me last night, crying. Said she couldn't take it anymore. And now, poof, gone. What did you do, Marcus? Finally push her over the edge?" "I don't know," he shouted back, desperation cracking his facade. "I came home to an empty house. Her closet's cleared out. There's a blank note, nothing else." Lydia laughed bitterly. "A blank note? That's Sarah. Saying everything by saying nothing. You broke her, you know that? Years of your lies, your late nights. I told her to leave you 100 times." Elena interjected, voice trembling. "We're trying to find her. Please, help us." Lydia whirled on her. "Help? You're the reason she's gone. Get out before I drag you out." Elena fled to the kitchen, leaving Marcus alone with the storm. Lydia's fury simmered into a cold resolve. She pulled a small, locked box from her oversized bag, slamming it on the counter. "You want to know what you did? Fine. But don't say I didn't warn you." With a key from her necklace, she unlocked it, revealing stacks of letters, yellowed envelopes, some tear-stained. "What is this?" Marcus asked, voice hoarse. "Her diary, in a way. Letters she wrote to me but never sent. Chronicles of your marriage's slow death." Lydia pulled one out, reading aloud. "Dear Lydia, another night alone. Marcus came home smelling like perfume again. I pretend not to notice, but it eats at me. How much longer can I fake this?" Marcus paled, sinking into a chair. Letter after letter spilled out, tales of discovered texts, whispered phone calls, the mistress's shadow looming. Seraphina's words painted a portrait of silent suffering. "He's killing me, piece by piece. But I stay. Why do I stay?" Elena's return was tentative, her face ashen as she listened. "She knew about me?" Lydia sneered. "She knew everything. And she planned her exit. These letters. Her way of venting without exploding. But the last one. She handed it over. If he crosses that final line, I'll vanish. No trace. Start over where no one knows my pain." The blank note suddenly made sense, a silent vow fulfilled. Marcus buried his face in his hands, sobs racking him. "I have to find her. Lydia, please. Help me." Lydia's eyes softened fractionally. "For her, not you." But if we do, and she wants you gone, you're gone. The box closed with a snap, sealing the secrets that had unraveled everything. The hunt was on, but the real mystery was whether Seraphina wanted to be found. The kitchen was a battlefield of silence, the blank note on the counter a grenade pin already pulled. Marcus clutched the last letter from Seraphina's hidden box, Lydia's voice still echoing in his head. If he crosses that final line, I'll vanish. No trace. The words were a guillotine, severing any hope that this was a spontaneous act. Seraphina hadn't just left, she'd obliterated her life with him. Lydia stood across from him, arms crossed, her eyes daring him to deny the truth. Elena hovered by the doorway, a ghost caught in the wreckage of her own choices. I didn't know it was this bad, Marcus whispered, voice raw. I thought we were just drifting. I thought she was okay. Okay. Lydia's laugh was a jagged blade. She was drowning, Marcus. And you were the anchor. She jabbed a finger at the letter. She wrote this 6 months ago. 6 months of planning to erase you. That blank note. It's her signature. Her way of saying you don't get to know her anymore. Elena stepped forward, her voice trembling but defiant. So what now? We just give up. She's out there, somewhere, alone. What if she's hurt? Her eyes flicked to Marcus, a flicker of guilt beneath her bravado. We need to find her. Lydia's gaze softened, but only slightly. For her, not for you two vultures. But fine. I know someone who might help. She pulled out her phone, dialing with purpose. Clara. Sarah's best friend. If anyone knows where she went, it's her. Marcus nodded, clinging to the lifeline. Call her. Please. Clara arrived within the hour, her presence a quiet storm. Her curly hair was pulled into a messy bun, her eyes sharp with a mix of worry and suspicion. She ignored Elena entirely and gave Marcus a look that could curdle milk. Lydia told me everything, she said, setting her bag down with a thud. You're lucky I'm here at all. Marcus spread his hands, pleading. Clara, I messed up. I know. But I need to find her. I'll do anything. Clara's lips twitched, a bitter smile. Anything. That's rich, coming from you. She glanced at Lydia, who nodded slightly, then back at Marcus. Here's the deal, I help, but only because Sarah might need me. Not because you deserve it. And if we find her, you don't get to play the hero. You listen to her. If she wants you gone, you're gone. Agreed. Marcus swallowed hard, the weight of his sins pressing down. Agreed. Elena shifted uncomfortably. I want to help too. Clara's eyes narrowed. You're the reason she's gone. Stay out of my way. Elena flinched but stayed silent, her suitcase still abandoned in the foyer. Clara pulled out a laptop, her fingers flying across the keys. Sarah was secretive lately. Distant, even with me. But she left clues. Bank withdrawals, small ones, over months. She was building something, a way out. She turned the screen to show a series of transactions, all to an account Marcus didn't recognize. This is where we start. Lydia leaned in, her voice low. She was planning this for a long time. Whatever you think you knew about her, Marcus, you didn't. The trail led them to a cryptic email Clara found in an old account Seraphina had shared with her years ago. A single message, sent to an unknown recipient, I'm ready to start over. The new me is waiting. Attached was a photo of a driver's license, not Seraphina's name, but a new one, Elise Morrow. A different address, a different life. Marcus stared at the screen, his heart twisting. Elise. She changed her name. Clara nodded, her voice softer now. She started this months ago. A new identity, a new bank account. She was done with you, Marcus. Done with the lies. She clicked through more files, revealing a pattern. Seraphina had rented a small apartment in a town 2 hours away, paid cash for a used car, and even enrolled in an art class under her new name. She wasn't just running. She was rebuilding. Elena's voice broke the silence, small and hesitant. Why didn't she just leave him? Why all this secrecy? Lydia snorted. Because he'd never let her go. Not really. Men like him don't lose gracefully. Marcus winced, the truth stinging. I didn't know she was this unhappy. I swear. Clara's eyes met his, cold and unyielding. That's the problem, Marcus. You didn't want to know. They agreed to split up the next day. Clara and Lydia would check the apartment, while Marcus and Elena would follow the car's registration to a nearby county. The deal was shaky, held together by desperation and distrust, but it was all they had. The county sheriff's office was a squat building with flickering fluorescent lights. Marcus and Elena sat across from a grizzled deputy, who slid a file across the desk. Found this in our system. Car accident, 3 nights ago. Matches the plates you gave me. Marcus's stomach dropped. Accident? Is she okay? The deputy shrugged, flipping open the file. Driver was a woman, mid-30s. ID said Elise Morrow. Minor injuries, but she was shaken up. Refused medical treatment, said she was fine. Left on foot before we could ask more questions. Elena leaned forward, her voice urgent. On foot? Where did she go? No idea. Car was totaled, towed to a local lot. She didn't leave a contact number. The deputy's eyes narrowed. You her husband? She didn't mention anyone. Marcus nodded, throat tight. Yeah, I'm trying to find her. The deputy studied him, then handed over a grainy photo from the scene. Seraphina, or Elise, stood by the wrecked car, her face pale but resolute, a stranger in her own skin. She didn't seem like someone running away, the deputy said. More like someone running toward something. Back in the car, Elena clutched the photo, her voice barely a whisper. She wasn't escaping us, was she? She was escaping herself. Marcus didn't answer, his hands gripping the wheel. The accident wasn't the end of the trail, it was a pivot. Seraphina had survived, walked away, and kept going. The question was where. Clara's lead on the apartment paid off. In a small artsy town called Willow Creek, they found her. The pottery studio was tucked between a cafe and a bookstore, its windows glowing with warm light. Marcus hesitated at the door, his heart pounding. Clara pushed past him, her voice firm. Stay back. Let me go first. Inside, the air smelled of clay and glaze. A woman with cropped, chestnut-dyed hair stood at a potter's wheel, her hands shaping a vase with quiet precision. It was Seraphina, but not. Her eyes were brighter, her movements free of the tension Marcus knew so well. She looked alive. Clara approached slowly. Elise, she said softly, using the new name. The woman looked up, her smile polite but distant. Yes. Can I help you? Marcus couldn't stay back. He stepped forward, voice breaking. Sarah, it's me. Marcus. Her smile faltered, replaced by a blank stare. I'm sorry, do I know you? The words were a knife, twisting deep. She tilted her head, studying him like a stranger. You must have me confused with someone else. Clara shot Marcus a warning glance, then turned back to her friend. Elise, we're just checking in. You okay? I'm fine, she said, her voice steady but guarded. I've got a good life here. New start, you know. She gestured to the studio, the shelves lined with her work. This is home now. Marcus's knees buckled. She wasn't pretending. She didn't remember him, or the pain he'd caused. The accident had stolen her past, and with it, his chance to make things right. Or had it? As they left the studio, Clara whispered, She's happy, Marcus. Let her be. But Marcus couldn't. Not yet. The woman he'd lost wasn't just gone, she was someone else entirely. And he needed to know if that someone still had a piece of Seraphina inside. The pottery studio's warm glow faded behind them as Marcus, Clara, and Lydia stepped into the chilly Willow Creek evening. Marcus's mind was a storm, Seraphina's, or Elisa's, blank stare burning into him. She hadn't recognized him, not a flicker of familiarity in her eyes. Clara's warning to let her go echoed, but he couldn't. Not yet. They found a small diner across the street, its neon sign buzzing faintly, and slid into a booth to regroup. She doesn't know me, Marcus said, his voice hollow, staring at the coffee he hadn't touched. How is that possible? Clara leaned forward, her expression a mix of pity and frustration. The accident, Marcus. The deputy said she was shaken up. Maybe she hit her head harder than they thought. Amnesia's not just movie stuff, it happens. Lydia snorted, picking at her fries. Or maybe she wants to forget you. Can't blame her. Her words were sharp, but her eyes held a flicker of worry for her sister. Marcus pulled out the photo from the accident, Seraphina's face pale but resolute. I need to try again. Show her something, pictures, our wedding album, anything. She has to remember. Clara shook her head. You push too hard, you'll scare her off. She's built a life here. Elise isn't Seraphina, not anymore. She paused, softening. But I'll talk to her. Alone. Tomorrow. The next morning, Clara returned to the studio, leaving Marcus and Lydia waiting in the diner. Elise was glazing a bowl, her movements precise. Clara approached cautiously. Hey, Elise. Got a minute? Elise smiled, wiping clay from her hands. Sure. Clara. What's up? That guy yesterday. He seemed intense. Clara hesitated, then pulled out her phone, showing a photo of Seraphina and Marcus on their wedding day, laughing under a shower of confetti. This is you, isn't it? Before the accident. Elisa's smile faded. She took the phone, studying the image. Her fingers trembled slightly. I don't know. It feels familiar, but... She handed it back, her voice tight. That's not my life anymore. Clara pressed gently. What do you remember? Before Willow Creek. Elisa's eyes clouded. Flashes. A house. Arguments. Pain. But it's like a dream I can't hold on to. I'm happy here, Clara. Why does he want to drag me back? Clara's heart ached. He's your husband. He's trying to understand. Elisa's face hardened. He's a stranger. Tell him to leave me alone. Back at the diner, Clara relayed the conversation, and Marcus's hope crumbled. She remembers something, he insisted, clutching at straws. Pain, arguments, she's still in there. Lydia slammed her coffee mug down. You're not listening. She doesn't want you, Marcus. She's free now. Let her stay that way. But Clara, ever the mediator, had an idea. There's a therapist in town, specializes in trauma and memory loss. I found her online last night. Maybe she can help Elise piece things together, gently, without forcing it. They convinced Elise to meet Dr. Nora Patel, a soft-spoken woman with a knack for unraveling tangled minds. In a cozy office lined with books, Elise sat stiffly, her hands clasped. Marcus watched through a one-way window, per the therapist's rules, his heart pounding. Dr. Patel's voice was calm. Elise, let's try something. Close your eyes. Think of those flashes you mentioned. Don't force it, just let them come. Elise hesitated, then complied. Her brow furrowed. I see, a kitchen. A man yelling. Not at me, but... It hurts. There's a woman's voice, too. Laughing, but not kind. It's like I'm watching someone else's life. Marcus's stomach twisted. The other woman, Elena. He gripped the armrest, guilt flooding him. Dr. Patel nodded. Anything else? Elisa's voice dropped to a whisper. A note. Blank. I wrote it, to say goodbye. To someone who broke me. Her eyes snapped open, wet with tears. I didn't want to be her anymore. Clara, watching beside Marcus, grabbed his arm. She's remembering. But it's not what you want, Marcus. It's pain. The session unlocked a floodgate. Over the next few days, Elisa's memories returned in jagged pieces, each one sharper than the last. Clara and Lydia stayed close, guiding her through the fragments, while Marcus lingered on the edges, a ghost in her new world. One evening, in the studio, Elise confronted Clara, her voice shaking with rage. I remember him now, she said, gripping a clay-stained rag. Marcus. The late nights, the lies. I found texts on his phone, months of them. From her. She spat the word, her eyes blazing. I wrote those letters to Lydia, pouring out my heart, but I never sent them. I was too ashamed. Too weak. Clara reached for her hand. You're not weak. You survived him. Elise shook her head, tears falling. I remember planning it all. The new name, the apartment, the car. I was going to leave clean, start over. Then the accident. It took everything else, but maybe that was a gift. She laughed bitterly. I didn't have to carry the pain anymore. That night, Marcus begged to see her. Against Clara's advice, Elise agreed, meeting him outside the studio under a street lamp's dim glow. He looked haggard, his eyes pleading. Sarah, Elise, I'm so sorry. I didn't know how much I hurt you. Let me fix this. Her laugh was cold, cutting. Fix this? You broke me, Marcus. I remember now. The perfume on your shirts, the excuses, the way you made me feel like I was nothing. I planned to disappear because staying with you was killing me. Marcus reached for her, but she stepped back. Please, I love you. I'll change. You don't love me, she said, voice steady. You love the idea of me. The wife who stayed quiet. I'm not her anymore. The confrontation left Elise reeling but resolute. She spent the next day in the studio, throwing clay with a ferocity that startled her students. Clara found her there, surrounded by half-formed pots. You okay? She asked softly. Elise didn't look up. I remember everything now. The betrayal, the shame. I can't forgive him, Clara. I don't want to. That life, it's poison. Clara nodded, sitting beside her. Then don't go back. You've got Willow Creek, the studio, us. You're Elise now. Seraphina's pain doesn't have to be yours. Elise's hands stilled on the wheel. But he's still here, waiting for me to crack. I see it in his eyes. He thinks I'll come back. Then show him you won't, Clara said. Live your life. Let him see what he lost. That evening, Marcus tried again, cornering Elise outside the diner. I'm not giving up, he said, voice desperate. We had good times, Sarah. You can't throw that away. Elise's eyes were steel. You threw it away first. I'm not your redemption story, Marcus. Go fix yourself somewhere else. She walked away, leaving him in the dark, her words a final wall between them. Elise stood at a crossroads, the weight of her old life lifting with each passing day. Clara and Lydia helped her settle into Willow Creek fully, renting a small cottage near the studio. One morning, as she unpacked her few belongings, she found the blank note in a box Clara had brought from the old house. She stared at it, then burned it in the backyard, watching the ashes scatter. I'm done with Seraphina, she told Clara over coffee. She was brave to plan the escape, but Elise is who I want to be. The accident wasn't just a loss, it was a chance to start clean. Lydia, visiting for the weekend, grinned. Good. You're stronger than she ever was. What's next? Elise smiled, a real one this time. The studio. My art. This town. It's where I belong. She looked out the window at the vibrant streets of Willow Creek, the community that had embraced her without question. I'm not running anymore. I'm building. Marcus lingered in town for a few more days, but Elise's resolve was unshakable. He left quietly, the weight of his mistakes trailing him like a shadow. Elise, meanwhile, stepped into her new life, the accident scars fading as she chose herself over the past. The Willow Creek cottage became Elise's sanctuary, a small haven painted in soft blues and filled with the scent of drying clay. She stood in the living room, unpacking the last of her belongings, a few books, a sketchpad, and a single photo of her and Lydia from years ago, laughing at a beach. Seraphina's name, her old life, felt like a ghost she'd finally exorcised. She'd burned the blank note, its ashes a final farewell to the woman who'd suffered in silence. Now, she was ready to fully become Elise Morrow. Clara stopped by that evening, bringing a bottle of wine and a knowing smile. You look lighter, she said, pouring 2 glasses. Like you're finally here. Elise took a sip, the warmth spreading through her. I am. I kept waiting for the past to drag me back, but it's gone. I don't want to be Seraphina anymore. She paused, her voice firm. I'm changing my name legally. Elise Morrow for good. Clara raised her glass. To Elise, then. The woman who built herself from scratch. Lydia, who'd stayed in town to support her sister, joined them later. You sure about this? She asked, her tone teasing but her eyes serious. No going back. Elise shook her head, a spark in her eyes. No going back. Seraphina was trapped. Elise is free. They clinked glasses, the sound ringing like a promise. That night, Elise filled out the paperwork, her new signature bold and unapologetic. The past was dead. She was writing a new story. Willow Creek's art community buzzed with life, and Elise threw herself into it. She found a run-down studio space on the edge of town, its windows cracked but its bones sturdy. With savings from her pottery sales and a small loan, she leased it, transforming the dusty space into a haven. She painted the walls a warm ochre, hung shelves for her creations, and set up tables for others to work. It wasn't just a studio, it was a refuge. Elise began hosting workshops, inviting women from Willow Creek and beyond. Many came with their own scars, divorce, loss, betrayal, and Elise's quiet strength drew them in. "This is a place to rebuild," she told them at the first session, her hands shaping clay as she spoke. "You don't have to be who you were. Make something new." One woman, Sarah, lingered after a class, her eyes red. "How do you do it?" she asked, voice low. "Start over after everything?" Elise smiled, wiping clay from her fingers. "One piece at a time. You don't erase the pain, you mold it into something beautiful." She handed Sarah a lump of clay. "Try it. Make something that's just yours." Word spread, and the studio became a beacon. Women arrived weekly, their laughter and stories filling the space. Elise watched them heal, her own heart growing stronger with each shared moment. The studio wasn't just hers, it was theirs, a testament to resilience. Months later, Elise stood in the center of a Willow Creek gallery, her first solo exhibition buzzing around her. The room was packed, locals, artists, even a few critics from nearby cities. Her collection, Shards of a New Dawn, told her story through clay, jagged vases mended with gold, bowls that spiraled upward like hope, sculptures of women breaking free from stone. Each piece was raw, honest, a map of her journey from Seraphina to Elise. Clara, radiant in a green dress, squeezed her arm. "You did this, Elise. You turned pain into art." Lydia, standing nearby, grinned. "Damn right she did. Look at this crowd. They're eating it up." Elise's eyes scanned the room, her heart full but steady. Then she saw him, Marcus, lingering in the back, half hidden by a sculpture. His face was gaunt, his eyes locked on her work. For a moment, their gazes met. He gave a small nod, not of reconciliation but of recognition. He saw her now, whole and unbroken, a woman he no longer knew. She turned away, focusing on a critic praising her use of kintsugi, the Japanese art of mending broken pottery with gold. "It's like you're saying broken things are more beautiful for it," the critic said. Elise nodded. "They are. The cracks tell the story." Marcus slipped out unnoticed, leaving her to her triumph. The gallery opening wasn't just a debut, it was her declaration of independence. As the studio thrived, so did Elise's place in Willow Creek. She became a fixture at community events, her laughter a familiar sound at the weekly farmers market. It was there she met Julian, a quiet painter with kind eyes and hands stained with ochre and indigo. He ran a booth selling landscapes, each canvas capturing the wild beauty of the surrounding hills. One afternoon, he wandered into her studio, intrigued by the stories he'd heard. "You're the one turning heartbreak into art," he said, his smile warm. "Mind if I watch?" Elise laughed, brushing hair from her face. "Only if you don't mind getting clay on you." They talked for hours, about art, loss, and the freedom of starting over. Julian shared his own story, a divorce that left him raw, a move to Willow Creek to find peace. "I paint to remember who I am," he said, showing her a sketch of a sunrise. "What do you make to remember?" Elise paused, her hands on a half-formed vase. "I make to forget. But also, to become." Their connection grew slowly, built on shared silences and honest conversations. Julian saw her as Elise, not Seraphina, with no shadow of her past tainting his gaze. One evening, as they closed the studio together, he touched her hand. "You're not just surviving, Elise. You're thriving. It's beautiful." She smiled, her heart opening in a way she hadn't thought possible. "So are you." The sun rose over Willow Creek, casting golden light through the studio's windows. Elise stood at her wheel, shaping a new piece, a wide, shallow bowl, its edges rough but strong, like her. Julian was there, sketching in the corner, his presence a quiet comfort. The studio hummed with life, students shaping clay, laughter echoing, the air thick with possibility. Clara and Lydia visited, marveling at the space. "You built a damn empire," Lydia said, grinning as she admired a new sculpture. Seraphina would be proud. Elise shook her head, her smile serene. "Seraphina's gone. This is Elise's life." She gestured to the room, the women creating, the art lining the walls. "This is what I chose." Later, as the sun set, Elise and Julian walked through the town square, her arm linked with his. They stopped by the fountain, where she tossed in a penny, a playful ritual. "What did you wish for?" he asked, his voice soft. She looked at him, then at the vibrant town around her, her home. "Nothing. I have everything I need." They laughed, the sound carrying into the night. The blank note that had once marked the end of Seraphina's life was now a distant memory, replaced by a story of strength, art, and a love built on truth. Elise Morrow had found her dawn, and it was radiant. The end.